Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Is this visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Okay, I'm waiting for a few minutes to join others. Then I will start my lecture. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let's start. Welcome all of you. The next lecture of Introduction to Memes. So just revise what is meme. What are memes? Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are memes? Memes is a term introduced to represent the class of miniaturized electromechanical devices. Miniaturized means which is uh, mini in shape. Okay, that's why it is called, or miniature. It's called copy on a much reduced scale. Okay, miniature means copy on a much reduced scale. So microelectromechanical systems are also referred to as micro machines in Japan, microsystem technology, which is called MST in Europe, or sometimes it is called microsystems or microsensors and actuators or micro transducers. Okay, so MEMS can be referred in different ways for different purposes. Now, the term MEMS generally refers to the micro scale components or micro scale devices within a system. Now, not the entire system itself are called as MEM. MEMS, it is basically maybe a part or maybe a full device, okay, which is in miniature form. Like here in this board, one axis accelerometer is designed. Now this portion, it is enlarged in this way here. Okay, so this portion is enlarged, this one, where on this side, this is the capacitive sensor, which is in miniature form, and this is the anchor points, and other different ICs are available here. Which which can be represented in IC. This whole structure can be represented in IC. Okay, so it is called or it is based on the MEMS. Or here on the right hand side, which is called the pressure sensor. It is a miniature pressure sensor. So here, ultra miniature medical pressure sensor, this one, it is represented in, or it is incorporated uh, into a box type device. Okay, this is ultra high resolution pressure sensor actually, which is very thin or very small in size compared to this dollar. So it a system. So basically in MEM system, different subsystems are also available, like MEM sensor is there, uh, power is there, microelectronic portion is available, then communication part is here, then software part is there, and then means MEMS actuator is there. So basically what happens, so these are the components. Those systems are incorporated into in this way, that microsensor, microactuators, microelectronics, and microstructures, which combines creates a system which is called MEMS based system. Okay, MEMS system. So what happened in case of microelectronics? That is the brain that receives or processes and makes decisions, and also it collects the data from the microsensor. So microelectronic itself one type of controller basically, which receives, which can be used to process and to make some decisions. All of you have already familiar with the microprocessor and microcontroller. So we need to control certain operation, uh, that's why we need the controller part, okay, which is based on this microelectronic part. Microsensor, what are the use of the microsensors in MEMS? Basically, it consistently gather data from the environment and pass that data to the microelectronics for processing purpose. Then it can be used to monitor uh, the mechanical energy or thermal energy or biological or chemical or optical or magnetic data or measurements. Okay, then micro actuators are also available. Micro actuators, what is the use of this micro actuator? Basically, it is used to perform certain action, and it acts as a trigger to activate external device. So using this MEM system, you need to control certain device. Okay, if you want to control certain device, you need to connect this actuator so that it can used as a triggering circuit to activate that external device, and microelectronics will tell micro actuator to activate that device. Okay, so that means it processes the signals and it informs the actuator what you need to do. Microstructures basically is extremely small structure built onto a surface of IC, integrated circuits, a chip, and it built right into the silicon of MEMS. Basically, MEMS structure, all the MEMS systems or MEMS based systems or microsystems can be fabricated on a silicon wafer. Okay, so silicon is the major, most important material to create any MEMS. device, a MEMS sensor. Okay, so these are the major components which incorporates into a device which is called MEMS based device. So why was MEMS technology developed? Actually, MEMS, that is a spin-off technology derived from the microelectronic industry, and microelectronic industry, it comes in the at that time when the transistors are formed in IC format. Okay, so microelectronics fabrication techniques has been involved at that time. So researchers investigated ways to create a micromechanical device using microelectronics fabrication methods. So we will discuss this method later on coming days. What are the fabrication techniques are involved? We will familiar with that. The motivation was various, like Nathanson, who sought better transistor performance, get transistor. Okay, it was invented by this Mr. Nathanson. And Peterson, again, another scientist, we sought a compact pressure sensor that could be expensively fabricated, basically blood pressure sensors. That was invented by this Peterson. Again, nowadays, various types of MEMS-based sensors or devices can be fabricated, which is used in many applications. The last, like I have discussed on last day, different applications of MEMS, where you can use these MEMS everywhere. Everywhere you can use these MEMS devices, or you can see the MEMS devices where it is used. In other cases, it was just to prove micro devices could be made. Micro devices could be made. It's very, very small. Now, how small are MEMS? So here, this is the most MEMS which belongs to this category, from 1 micrometer to 1 millimeter. Within this category, the MEMS are fabricated. Okay. Now cells belongs to this category under this position to this one, means from the 5 micrometer to 2 or 3 micrometer to the 100 micrometers, and our human here, that is very thin compared to this 100 micrometer, near about 90 micrometer. Infrared light, which belongs to this range, which is within 1 micrometer to 10 micrometer infrared light, and visible lights are less than 1 micrometer. And after that, the UV light is coming, where the nanotechnology also comes into this position, because after micro it goes to nano. Okay, so nanotechnology is has been started from the 100 nanometer to 1 nanometer, where the UV light resides in this within this range. The proteins, the viruses, and the atoms are within this range in this nano form. Okay, nanometer form. So the MEMS are so small. Now, why go small? That is the key question. Okay, so for some applications, scaling devices down to the micro scale may allow for some unique advantage. And physical size is only one of many considerations, because for micro scale sensors, the size, it gives the higher sensitivity, it gives a better linearity, and it gives a better responsivity. It has the dynamic range of operations and the cost reduction from batch fabrication. Batch fabrication is more number of devices can be fabricated within one time, okay, at a time. That is called the batch processing. Okay, so cost will be reduced. So for micro scale actuator parts, so these are basically based on the sensor portion, and these considerations are based on the actuator, and the dynamic response speed will be very good, lower power consumption, and the footprint is very easiest way to create the footprint, and the cost reduction from same batch fabrication. Okay, so that's why it is so small. We need to consider the MEMS. MEMS technology does not mean the end system will be the micro scale, not the end system. For most applications, only the sensor or actuator need to be micro scale to take advantage of micro scale properties. Okay, suppose if you want to measure some activities of your heart. Okay, so you need to create that sensor which can be used to trace the heart signals. So that you need to create that sensor which can be implemented into our body so that it activates the signals or it can trace the signals. That's why only the sensor portion can be minimized or miniaturized. Okay, not the full device. Okay, uh, so however, some researchers are attempting to shrink the entire system down to the micro scale. Not the full part. uh, so initially it was assumed that only the sensor part or actuating part, that means the transducer part will be minimized. Okay, all other parts will be in the normal scale. Okay, but nowadays our advancement of the new technologies and every system needs to be smart. The total system along with the entire sensor actuator the part will be minimized. Okay, it is down to the micro scale structure. Total system, total device, not the sensor part only. Full device will go from the normal scale to the micro scale range or the nanoscale range. Okay. Now the different characteristics of MEMS means the different interesting characteristics of MEMS based on the three characteristics. First one is the miniaturization, and the second one is the microelectronic integration, and the third is the parallel fabrication. Okay, now I have told you that miniature means the copy on a much reduced scale. Okay, so in essence, miniaturization is an art that substantially reduces the size of the original object, yet retains the characteristics of the original in the reduced copy. Okay, the need for miniaturization has become more prominent than ever in recent decades, and engineering systems and devices have become more and more complex and sophisticated. So the benefits of having smaller components and hence a device or machine with enhanced capabilities and functionalities are obvious from engineering perspectives. Okay, so smaller systems tend to move more quickly than larger system because of lower inertia of the mass. The minute sizes of small devices encounter fewer problems in thermal distortion and vibration because resonant vibration of a system is inversely proportional to the mass. So smaller systems with lower masses have much higher natural frequencies, okay, than those expected from most machines and devices in operations. And in addition to the more accurate performance of smaller system, their minute size makes them particularly suitable for applications in medicines and surgery and in microelectronic assemblies in which the miniaturized tools are necessary. Miniaturization is also desirable in satellites and spacecraft engineering to satisfy the prime concerns about high precision and payload size. Okay, very accurate measurement purpose. The high accuracy of miniaturized systems in motion and dimensional stability makes them particularly suitable for telecommunication system also. Okay, so miniaturized is the only way to have new and competitive engineering systems performing multifunctions with manageable sizes. Now process of miniaturizing engineering system is an ongoing effort by engineers or different scientists. And we have witnessed many of the results in consumer products with much better performance but much reduced size, like as for example hair dryer, cameras, radios, mobile phones, etc. All these are based on the on this MEMS based devices, MEMS based sensor devices. So generally it ranges from 1 micrometer to 1 centimeter or 1 millimeter. So may rise to operational advantage such as soft springs are available, high resonant frequencies are available, now great sensitivity are available, low thermal mass. I have told you about this, low thermal mass, and limited by scaling loss. So we will go through this scaling loss later for different systems, like for mechanical system, for chemical system, um, or the thermal systems. So different scaling laws are available. Okay. The second is the microelectronic integration, where that means the ability to seamlessly integrate the mechanical sensors and actuators with electronic processors as controllers at the single wafer level. Okay, so that is called the microelectronic integration. So all these things are incorporated into a single wafer, silicon wafer. Okay, and this process is called this monolithic integration, like right, like accelerometers. How it is made? It is use of different sensors and actuators. Okay, and digital light processors, DLP, digital light processors are used in projectors. Okay, so LCD or LED projectors. Inkjet printer heads, the dimension and precision of placement are guaranteed by lithography. Quality of signals are improved by reducing noise and length of signal paths by monolithic integration. And in a DLP, digital light processor, each mirror, there are lots of mirrors are available, which is controlled by a CMOS logic circuit that is buried directly underneath. Okay, so I will load a video of DLP, digital light processor, which is used in our projectors. How this can be operated, that will be explained in that video. Okay, I will uploaded that video. So after creating, okay, the third is the parallel fabrication, where it is possible to realize 2D or 3D feature with small dimension and with high precision. Okay, so we can fabricate it using the 2D or 3D features. High aspect ratio is there, and high uniformity across wafers and batches. Okay, so if batch processing is used, then uniform sizes can be maintained for all the fabrication devices. Okay. Different wafers are there, but all these are silicon wafers, where we can made a sensor or this type of device, but that will be uniform in size. All the devices or all the wafer sizes are in uniform. So these are the main characteristics of MEMS. Then comes to the energy domains of transducer, sensors, and actuators, means where you can use the sensor part. I think all of you are familiar with the sensor or transducer and sensor. So this is an example of industrial measurement environment, where the tank is filled up by some liquid, and there is a control valve which is to be controlled by a controller. Here this level sensors are introduced, from where the signal is going to this signal conditioning circuit, then it goes to the transmitter to transmit that measurement from the field position to the control room. Okay, control room, and in that control room the signal conditioning unit is there, which is used to indicate certain value, and that is to be controlled by this distributed control system. DCS is used, so that it can be controlled by this computer or the operating interface. Okay, in this control room. So here this is the different types of noise can be incorporated into this field. So different noises are available, so that noise should be minimized. And how the noise can be minimized, using the different strategies are involved, so which is to be controlled by sitting in this control room to handle this process which is present inside the field. Okay, so that's why that is the use of these transducers or sensor and actuator parts principle. So in definition, what is it? Basically, transducer means it's a device that transforms one form of signal or energy into another energy. Okay, another form of energy. The term transducer can therefore be used to include both sensors and actuators, and is the most generic and widely used terms in MEMS. Okay, so transducer means the sensor and actuator both. Why? Because at the input side, that can be used as your sensor. Our sensor is a device that measures information from a surrounding environment. It takes the data from the environment and provides an electrical output signal in response to the parameter it measured. And over the years, this information or phenomena has been categorized in terms of the type of energy domains, but MEMS devices generally overlap several domains or do not even belong to any of the categories. So we will focus on this energy domains after this slide. So sensor, it gathers the data from the environment side, and it is used to process that measurement to the output side by the help of this actuator. And now what is the actuator? That is the output transducer, which can be used to it is a device that converts an electrical signal into an action. Now it can create a force to manipulate itself or other mechanical devices or the surrounding environment to perform some useful function. Okay, now as for example, our eyes are the sensors, and the muscles and hands are the actuators, okay, which can perform certain action. Okay, so so these are the energy domains which can be performed by different transducers, the sensor also. Like atomic energy, so this is the chemical energy domain, this is the electrical energy domain, this is the mechanical energy domain, this is the thermal energy, radiant energy, magnetic. So these are the different energy domains in transducers. So atomic energy, basically it is related to the force between the nuclei and electrons. Mass energy, which is described by Einstein as part of this relativity theory. And molecular energy, which is the binding energy in molecules. And the nuclear energy itself, it is used as equals to mc square, the binding energy between the nuclei. And the electrical energy, which is related to the electric field, current, voltage, etc. And the mechanical energy means the gravitational energy, and the itself mechanical energy, which is related to the gravitational attraction between the Mars and the Earth, and it is related to the motion and displacement force, etc. Then come to the mechanical energy domain, which is deals with the which is used to deal with the magnetic field. Okay, radiant energy, which is related to electromagnetic radio waves, microwaves, different infrareds, visible light, UV rays, X-rays, and gamma rays. All these are under this energy, radiant energy domain. And the thermal energies are related to the kinetic energy of atoms and the molecules. So these are the different energy domains. And so the signal domains with some examples like the mechanical. Now, which parameter is to be measured? The length, area, volume, all the derivatives such as linear, angular, velocity, acceleration, mass flow, force, torque, pressure, acoustic wavelength, all of these. The thermal means the temperature, the heat entropy, heat flow. These are measured by the thermal energy domain under this domain. Electrical, under this domain, the voltage, current, charge, resistance, inductance, capacitance, dielectric constant, all these can be measured. Magnetic flux intensity. So in this way, so this table shows different parameters which can be measured under these specific signal domains. And here is your one chart. And actually this chart represents, this is the mechanical input which can be changed into output, mechanical output. Okay, also, or mechanical input can be changed into thermal or the electrical or magnetic or radiant. So in this way, so there is a structure, there is a table where input can be changed into a corresponding output signal. Okay, so signal conversion table is there. So where the sensor is applied, it is used to monitor the process and different operations, control of processes and operations, experimental engineering analysis, environment and safety measurement purpose. The sensors are used, and here it's a simple closed loop system where the sensor can be incorporated, like one reference temperature is to be given, and it is given to the summing point of this system where the heater is to be connected, and it controls the room temperature, and then room temperature is to be measured by this temperature sensor, and if it is deviated from this thing, it can be used to control the temperature in this way, where the set point minus the measured point value, that is the error signal, which can be performed according to the need. So the transducer specifications basically or characteristics give the information of how well and how quick the transducer converts what is measuring into an electrical signal. And that's why there are two specifications. One is the static specifications like accuracy, resolution, linearity, repeatability, all these are here. And a dynamic specification means the rise time, the dead time or time delay, the time constant, settling time, cutoff frequency, all these are under this dynamic specifications. Okay, all of you know about this, I think so. All of you are familiar with the measurement techniques and different measurement ideas, where static measurement, dynamic measurement can be there. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any queries, any doubts, you can ask me. So unmute yourself and you can ask me the question if you have any doubt. All of you unmute yourself.
Hello, can you provide this PDF?
Sir, if we need any books to read?
Right now,
actually, I need,
there is no book.
Actually, that's why I need it. If you can provide it, it's very beneficial. Sir.
Okay, so that's why I have asking you to create the group mail. Okay, so that I will create a Google Classroom where I can put everything, means these slides, the lecture notes, the different videos and my lectures also, which will be uploaded into YouTube, so that you can go anytime, you can listen that lecture, and I will upload that link also. Okay, that's why I need the group mail. Okay, I will create that classroom and you can collect the whole materials from that. Okay, platform.
Okay, sir.
Are you going to upload YouTube videos, sir, in future?
Yes, the whole lecture will be uploaded in YouTube, and I will send the link so that you can use that video anytime.
Yes,
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any queries? Because right now books are not available. Okay, that's why I need to give you the notes. Different notes, or right now the slides will be beneficial for you also. Okay, and okay, that's all. So do you have any queries?
No, sir.
Okay, if you don't have, then okay, last I will take the attendance. Alam, Sanaz Alam.
Shania Alam, yes.
Sanaz Alam. Achha. Where is Ankon? Srishti.
Present, sir.
Srishti. Supratik.
Yes, sir.
Shriyan Ghosh. Shriyan Ghosh. Yes. Yes.
Present, sir.
And another one, Atul, I think. Where is Atul? He's not present.
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all for today.
Hello, sir, I want to mention something, sir. Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Sir, it happened in previous classes also. Actually, my internet is not good. And in between classes, I get left out. And if I try to connect, it takes 5 to 10 minutes. I'm having this kind of issues.
Maybe there may be problem. Problem can be made for everyone. Okay, no issue, no problem, but try to connect. Okay, always try to connect.
Yes, yes.
And if you have missed anything or anything, that's why the YouTube lectures will be uploaded and you can go through that lecture. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay, sir.
So see you on Friday. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good day.